All right, welcome everyone to the Great Recruiter Spotlight. I'm David, Head of Customer Success, and today I am joined by Mariah Wagner of Benchmark IT. Mariah, welcome.
Thank you so much, David. I'm excited to be here and to be speaking with you.
Yeah, we're happy to have you, and it's been great working with the Benchmark IT team so far. Yes, again, really happy to have you here today. So off the bat, just real quick, who are you? How long have you been at Benchmark? What's your role? Tell us a bit about yourself.
Sure, sounds good. So I've been with Benchmark just over 3.5 years. I actually joined Benchmark right out of school. I studied HR and I knew I wanted to be in some capacity in HR, and then joined Benchmark and sort of fell in love with recruiting. I started off in a sourcing role, just figuring out how to search for the right candidates. And then, as time went on, I progressed into, a senior recruiter. And so my firm, we mainly focus on anything IT, could be, entry level roles all the way up to C-level. We're a boutique firm. We're based in Stamford, Connecticut, and we really focus on clients, all sizes, all industries in the tri-state area.
Beautiful. So yeah, you said you came right out of school then. I mean, did you have any idea kind of that you wanted to go into staffing, that what the staffing industry even was?
So actually, surprisingly, yes. Everyone's always surprised by this answer, but I had actually a fabulous professor who was teaching business communications, and she also was a recruiter. So she shared some of her funny stories sometimes and kind of got me wondering, oh, what's that like? And so I, talked with her offline, outside of class, because, I was figuring out what I wanted to do after college. And I was exploring all opportunities, after school, but I knew about the staffing industry and I was intrigued by it. So when, I moved to Stanford, I was applying to, all sorts of roles.
Okay, no, that like you said, that's a little more interesting than not. Most people are like, I had no idea what a recruiter did. I had never heard of it before. I got a call from one or two, but always ignored them. No, you're the first one that I've talked to that kind of had a little bit of insight, at least in college, of kind of what the staffing industry, kind of was based around and what it was like a bit. So it's kind of cool to get a teacher like that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I was appreciative for that exposure because I wouldn't have had that otherwise. So
Yeah, absolutely. So again, kind of touching on that, then you kind of had an idea about the industry going into it. Then obviously you said you kind of fell into it and fell in love with it. Like, so what do you love about recruiting?
So, there's a couple different things I love about it. When I went to school, I thought I wanted to be a psychologist. I definitely wanted to help people in some capacity. So, recruiting obviously helps me to do that, help people find jobs and kind of help people figure out what they want to do career-wise and what their options are. But, another thing I love about it is there's really no day that's the same. I get to speak with a lot of different people, learn about their background and, just their situation, and you're dealing with people. So it's always ever changing. It's exciting. But those are the things that keep me going. The fact that it's different, it's exciting, no day's the same. I love helping people. It's rewarding in that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, I love building relationships too. Even
Sure.
I've been in the industry for, just over 3 years, but it's great to see the people I've placed, how they grow and watching their career progress and, feeling like I made an impact in their career. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean that's great to hear. I mean, I'm sure some of them kind of have watched your career progress too, as as you've been there almost 3 years now and stuff. So, um,
Absolutely.
yeah. So, kind of switching gears a little bit. Obviously, we're in an interesting time in the world with the COVID pandemic and whatnot. Just kind of what challenges like have you faced? Are you facing currently as a recruiter?
Yeah. So in specific with Benchmark, just a little bit about us is we're very high touch. So typically before the pandemic, we met every single candidate that we,
You mean
worked with.
in-person meetings and stuff?
Yes, in-person meetings. So, we invited candidates into our office and we all got to meet with them. So the shifting gears from that, was tough just because that's sort of what we pride ourselves off of being high touch. So having to adapt and, going to fully, virtual has been a little bit of a learning experience. Not to say we didn't do some Skype meetings before, when we weren't able to do in person, but now just shifting fully to that was a little bit of a challenge. And then,
Yeah.
Also we really like to build relationships with candidates, and usually that's always best in person. So figuring out ways to, keep those relationships going and have a good foundation virtual was, a little bit different because, it's not as personal. It's not as, high touch as we're used to. So navigating that. And then also, my firm, we're all usually on site 5 days a week. So
Sure.
figuring out how to work from home, that was a little bit challenge for all of us, but I think now we figured it out. And then working through, coaching candidates for virtual interviews, and also working with hiring managers on, virtual hires. So a little bit of kind of working together, as a team, starting with the candidate and then the client and all that. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. Those are some of the same, obviously same challenges that I've heard from other partners on the Great Recruiters platform. And it looks like you guys are you still remote then?
yes, we're still remote as of now.
As am I. But yeah, you listed, quite a few challenges there. Are there any, in any way, did having great recruiters, you think, any way alleviated any of those challenges for you in any ways?
Um, I think when I'm first reaching out to candidates and they're wondering who I am, what I'm about, all that, and a lot of times everything's kind of laid out in my signature, just even on my LinkedIn, they want to do their research. So I think right now it's been a time where, a lot of companies aren't hiring. So we did have a little bit of downtime, but um, trying to build back up the pipeline and, kind of ramping back up our outreach as things are picking up slowly. I think having the Great Recruiters platform sort of set me apart. Like, for instance, I had a call with a candidate the other day, and he was like, I'm getting a lot of calls. I want to do my due diligence before we continue on this conversation, just because, there's a lot of bad recruiters out there. And, I can't argue with that. Unfortunately, there are. But he took some time, went over my profile and my LinkedIn in addition to some other things, and it kind of alleviated his concerns, that I'm legitimate. I actually have helped people. There's people that actually, enjoyed their experience working with me,
For sure.
and benchmark. So
Yeah,
that sort of helps with that.
yeah. I'm looking at I pulled up your profile real quick. You're at a 4.76 with 128 reviews. So that's pretty up there on the in the benchmark leaderboard, which is fantastic. So congratulations on that. Yeah,
Thank you.
kind of heard that same sentiment that having the you know the reviews behind you, being able to share that profile, like you said, kind of helps you stand out from the crowd. One thing which we're trying to combat here at Great Recruiters, the initial Adam Conrad, the founder, one of his initial reasons for creating and coming up with the ideas, when you initially Google recruiters are, some of the first words that pop up are like, liars, not great to work with, things like that. And then he wants to, kind of combat that. So that kind of resonated with what you just said, is having the profile allows you to stand out, highlight some of those top reviews, and things along those lines. And I know Benchmark does a great job of incorporating some of the tools into the website. I know you guys have you highlight, you and the entire team on the website and include those profiles. Do you guys get a lot of action, you think, through the integrations on the website as far as having the profile on there as well?
I think so. I personally don't have, access to tell exactly how people access my profile usually, but I believe we have pretty good track to our website, and then obviously people check us out once they're on there.
For sure. And I noticed on your individual recruiter profile, you highlight some of the jobs you're currently hiring for. Have you found that aspect of the profile? Do people reach out inquiring about those specific jobs?
Yeah, it helps people to know, okay, Benchmark has these openings and who's the recruiter on them. And that way I saw people reached out to me directly for the specific jobs I have available. So it has helped sort of group, which recruiter is working on which job. And because of that, I do get outreach about my available jobs.
Beautiful. And yeah, just beyond that, again, you kind of touched on the profile, but are there any other tools on the platform that you think have helped, especially being remote during this time? Has getting any of the feedback, again, what kind of while being remote, helped you adjust at all to the changing times? You think?
I would say Definitely, feedback at any point is always really helpful. And especially during this time, because like I said, my firm is going through a little bit of a transition, figuring out how to partner with candidates, still have that high touch, still, keep our reputation that we're looking to build long-term, long-lasting relationships with candidates and clients. So I think Great Recruiters helped us really drive that point home. And, I think it also allowed continuous improvement and continuous communication all throughout the process, just because I get mainly, a lot of people say things when they're happy and they want to share positive things, but it also does help to get some constructive, feedback on there. So, I think the continuous feedback is always helpful, especially during this trying time when we're really
Yeah,
trying to shift gears. So, I'm really grateful for it because, it helps us be better every day. And, I always, candidates usually they share feedback with me verbally, but I think it gives them a chance to, um, kind of break it down and see what things I could improve on in specific. So,
for sure. And then you touched on, being open and getting some of that maybe not so positive feedback or constructive feedback. Is there a specific instance where you recall getting that type of feedback and making an adjustment to whether it's your process or something you do with candidates?
yeah, I remember one specific review I was a little, obviously upset over, but the candidate was honest. He said I didn't necessarily follow up in a timely manner and I could have been a little bit better about that. And I take that stuff to heart, because I want people to have the best experience possible. I never want to leave anyone in a gray area. So that's one specific thing I've received in addition to some others. And, I appreciate the good and the bad because we're human and things slip our mind, and I just like to be held accountable. So,
No, for sure. And I think, like you mentioned, like, candidates are searching recruiters and kind of reviewing them as they would a product on Amazon now. And, you know, if I was looking for a recruiter, I'd want to work with someone, who said what you just said, who would be open to both the positive and the negative feedback and kind of take that to heart. So I think that's what candidates want to hear and want to work with someone just like you there, Mariah. So.
exactly. I've been thankful for it, and it's held me accountable. And so, it's been a learning experience, but it's great.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think every day right now is a new learning experience across all industries and verticals. So yeah, we're all in the same boat.
Absolutely.
All right, Mariah, not too much else I had for you today. Anything else you'd like to share about yourself, about Benchmark, about being a recruiter?
Um, Nothing else, I could think of. Every day we're trying to get better. We're still trying to keep our high touch in this environment, and not lose, what makes us, different than some other recruiting firms. I think that's what, I've been working on these last few weeks and will continue to.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, I just, I support that. I mean, obviously hard to have high touch, interviews in what seems to be now a low touch world. Yeah, I mean, just keep doing what you're doing, keep trucking along. You're getting some great reviews and some great scores, and we're happy to be working with you guys here. So appreciate the time today, Mariah, and enjoy the rest of your week. And only 3 days left now.
3 days left. Thank you so much, David. It was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you.
Have a great one.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye now.